Hi, everybody. Yeah, good. All right. So listen, I'm super happy to be here. I'm on the last day of a 1-week kind of tour. I went to C21 Citrus on Monday and Tuesday. I was at C21 Union the last couple of days. I was at All Stars this morning, and now I'm at the best office, which is Masters. Right? No, but I say that because I really like it. I have so many of you that I know and I'm familiar with, so it's nice to have a kind audience, warm and welcoming. I've been away from home for a while, so it's good to see your faces, all right? But I know you didn't come here to make me feel good. You came here to learn how to make more money. Right? I know that's why you're here, because you figured whatever I can teach you or show you or demonstrate will help you make more money. Correct, everybody? Okay, so let's just be clear. That's why we're here. Now, I know a lot of you. I've known some of you from years. Some of you I haven't met before, but I know quite a bit about real estate from what I do. I've worked for Mike for 16 years now. I've worked in every aspect of the company. I was a struggling real estate agent. I was a successful real estate agent, successful mortgage lender, and I'm excited to teach you some things here. But there's some numbers I want to start off our talk with. Okay, let's just set the stage real quick. And if you're taking notes, I hope you are. Please write down 10%. This is a number that these numbers I'm going to give you, you may have heard before. I don't know if you've done anything about it, though. 10% of the agents in the country are responsible for 90% of the transactions that are occurring. 10% of the agents are doing 90% of the transactions. Can you guys, have you heard this before? Yeah, we've heard it before. I don't know if you've done anything about it, though, okay? So, but see, that's an upsetting number. There's almost 1.4 million real estate agents who are licensed with the, or registered with the NAR right now, and only 10% are doing most of the business. And then 90% of the agents have to split up what's left, the other 10% of the deals that they're not doing. And we have to fight for them like rats sometimes, don't we? It feels that way, that we're all climbing on top of each other trying to help these homeowners out, okay? But let me ask you a question. The 10%, are they the listing agents or the buyer's agents in the country? They're the listing agents. Does everybody agree? Raise your hand if you agree. Everyone agree? They're the listing agents in the country. They're not typically the buyer's agents controlling all the sales, okay? Okay, also write down 50%, the number 50%. The NAR reported again this year that 50% of the licensees in the country will not do a deal. They won't do a deal this year. No, zero. No income, no production. Half of the agents registered with the NAR. Okay? Now, of the half that do a deal, the average production is 3.7 sales. 3.7 sales for the year. That's the average production of real estate agents. What do you think of that? It's awful, isn't it? I mean, okay, well, let me ask you guys a question. What's the ceiling on income and production in real estate? Where do they level cap you out at? Oh, there's no cap? You mean you can make as much as you want? Has that always been the case? Really? But why is it, though, in an industry that has no limits, no ceiling, the average person's making less than $40,000 a year in the business? Why is that? Correct, right? Don't know what to say, don't know what to do, maybe. Okay, good, right? Why can't we make money in this wide open sales industry, right? Why can't we make the money we want to make? All right, well, let me explain to you. Let me show you something. Raise your hand if you've had a direct sales background before. Direct sales background, okay? 1, 2, 3 of you had direct sales background. How many have run a small business before? Small business. Successfully? Oh. Darn, right? Okay. So the deal is we come into real estate, most of us had different jobs. We've never been in sales. We've never run a small business before, but now we're supporting ourselves with a small sales business. You see, what we have is an industry full of non-sales people, unfortunately, is what's going on, okay? So when we get into the business, where do we gravitate towards? We gravitate towards buyers, typically, when we get started in real estate, right? Well, hey, did you guys learn a lot when you got your license? Did you learn a whole bunch? Did they teach you how to sell? How to present, how to ask questions, how to close, how to handle objections. They teach you any of that? No, I hold a license in California. They didn't teach me any of that. In fact, the only thing I remember from my licensing was how many feet in an acre. Look at you, remember. I can't even remember that one thing I paid all that money for, right? Where I went through the whole course, all I learned was how many feet in an acre. Okay, now who took the crash course to get your license? Yeah, you're my alma mater. Yeah, good for you, right? My alma mater. Right? 1-day crash course to pass the test. See, none of us have the sales training that we need to make a lot of money when we come into the business. And then some of us get it, some of us don't, or we don't quite learn, or we kind of do, or it takes 20 years to learn how to do it. Okay? So if we come into the business and we don't have any sales training and we don't run a business, haven't run a business before, we gravitate towards buyers. Why do we like the buyers when we're newer agents? Easy and in what way? Say what? No skills needed. You should write that down. Buyers equal no skills required, pretty much. There's not a lot of skill required to show houses. Okay. I mean, you know, what are you really good at when you show houses? Like you can open the door faster than anybody else. You know, you're like, watch this, you know, pow, you know, bam, look at that. I mean, I don't know what you're good at. Okay. So, and then the other reason is that there's typically not a lot of rejection that goes along with working with buyers and showing houses. Do you get slammed when you're showing houses? No, no. House sells itself. See, remember that buyers buy houses because of the house. Can we be clear? Can we all just agree with me on this? Buyers buy houses because of the house. Sellers list houses. They list houses because of the agent. They list houses because of the agent. Okay. Now, right now, people are getting out of the business according to the NAR. The market, what's it doing? Is it still pointed up? Or is it leveled off? Or is it pointed down? Kind of pointed down, leveled off, you know, kind of like in that we're beginning our descent. You know, when you feel on the airplane about 30 minutes outside the airport, you feel the motors pull back. You're like, oh, we're coming in. Yeah, well, I think we may be coming in. All right. So the market's shifting and the agents are now getting out. Are those the listing agents getting out of the business? No, it's the buyer's agents getting out of the business because they can't figure out how to make it work, how to make a living, how to make the ends meet. They can't figure out how to do it. No sales training, can't handle rejection, don't know how to do, don't have much skill in the business. They can't figure it out, so they have to get out of the business. You know, at Mike Ferry, we've always been encouraging you to start the process of becoming a listing agent. Turn to the person you're sitting next to. Have you said hello to them, by the way? Yeah? Turn to the person next to you and say this to them. Tell them you've got a list to exist. Right? Faisal, is that you back there? Look at you. Hey, okay, good. Can you hear me okay? All right. All right, so we've got a list to exist, right? I'm here to encourage you to start the process of becoming a listing agent. And then there's things you've got to know to be able to do that, which we're going to work on objection handling today as part of it. All right? Who considers himself a strong listing agent right now? Okay, good. Who wants to be able to raise their hand? Who wants to be that? Okay. All right, awesome. Now, let me ask you this. Do you have the company behind you to become that great listing agent? Oh, yeah. You got the company. Do you have the training and support from the company that you need to become that? Right. You have our support, our training, right? Do you have the office environment to be a great listing agent? You have all the tools. Okay. How about we learn how to list property and list at a high level? See, here's something I don't get. Why is everyone in this room, well, before I go there, raise your hand if you take at least a listing every week. Raise your hand. Close? Nobody takes a listing each week? Well, that's odd for me. Your job is to list and sell property. Why don't you do it every week? Anyone? Help me. I know it doesn't happen. Why not? Why aren't you taking a listing every week? Because not talking enough people. I don't know how. What else? I'm lacking skills. It's hard to do. I'm afraid of lack of skills, Faisal. We can't handle the objections that we anticipate, so we don't even get involved in the activity. Does that sound familiar? Yeah. Okay, watch. Let me go ahead. To take a listing every week? It starts with that. If you don't even think, if you think it's unrealistic, it's definitely not going to happen. But I can't figure out what you guys go to work for and do all week. Do you remember when you had a job and they paid you a paycheck? Do you remember that? Remember you went to work to do what? To earn money. Remember you went to work and you earned money. What if you went to work and they just decided not to pay you? Would you keep working there? So you went to earn money, but now as a real estate agent, we go to work Monday, we come home, oh, hey, honey, boy, what a day at the office. And you didn't earn any money that day, or Tuesday, or Wednesday, Thursday, maybe not even Friday. Maybe you didn't earn any money that week and you went in every day. What's up with that? Is it because your commissions are so high that you don't have to make one every day? What if commissions were $300? You'd have to list a property every day, wouldn't you, to survive? But see, it's not, so it allows this complacency to happen. But folks, I mean, I don't know what you're doing. You have 5 full days, maybe 6, to take a listing. What if you went to work and all you did that week was get a listing? The whole week, nothing, your whole activities, every hour, every minute was focused on getting a listing that week. And the next week, same thing, get a listing this week. And I spend the next 5 days getting a listing that week. How many listings would you take in a year? There's 52 weeks. Let me help you out. 1 a week. Realtors. Right? You'd take around 50 listings, but and realistically, how many would sell? Let's say 40 would sell. Is that pretty realistic? You price them correctly, 40 sell. What's our average commission in Walnut right now? $10,000? So what's 40 transactions times a $10,000 commission? $400,000. The same amount that we pay the President of the United States. That's what we pay him in salary, $400,000. You can earn as much as the President of the United States, and all you got to do is take a listing every week. Just one. What if you took the listing on Monday or Tuesday and took the rest of the week off? And then next week come back and take a listing again and take the rest of the week off? Oh, look, Frank likes that one. Okay. Can I tell you why you're not listing a house every week? Here it is. It's very simple. Just think of it this way. Your daily activities are not aligned with taking a listing every week. Your activities are aligned with whatever you're getting at the end of the week. Do you get it? Your results are just based on what your activities were this week. So if you go a whole week and there's no listing, no sale, no escrow, no contract signed, it means your activities were lined up with no result. What if we could line up your daily activities where you could take a listing every week? Or how about this? Let's be even more realistic. How about you take 2 listings a month? Who would like to be at that level? Okay, 2 a month, my God. Then you get paid like a normal human being, right? 2 a month should be minimum standard for every agent in the business, just as a rule of thumb to make money and make a living, okay? But taking a listing every week, wouldn't that be nice? Yes. Would that put you in the status of a listing agent? Yes. Absolutely. Now, what's the benefit of you primarily listing property? Do you get to control your own time? Right, because buyers control agents' time. You also get to control your income level when you're a listing agent. You decide how much you charge and how much you earn. When you're the buyer's agent, Armando, the listing agent decides how much they're going to pay you. Do you guys like that? Do you like being the employee? No. Pay attention, Frank. You're trying, but you're like one question behind. Right? So what I'm encouraging you guys to do is just wrap your mind around maybe 2020 is the year that you kick it in as a listing agent. And you're gonna have to do some things to do that. You're gonna have to learn how to do a few things. You didn't have to learn anything to show property, but to list property, you got to learn a few things. How about this? You got to learn 8 scripts. 8. Right? You got to master like maybe 5 objections. that you hear commonly. We have a friend in the business. We're going to think it over. Bring me a buyer. I'll pay you 2%. We're going to try it on our own first. Then we may consider listing. Right? Have you heard these things before? You got to learn the 5 basic core objections and a couple responses. So 8 scripts, 5 objections, and then you got to practice a little bit every day. Now, to make $400,000 as a doctor, what do you have to do? Go to school for 10 or 12 years, do internship, work for free for a couple years, then you owe $500,000 in school bills, student loans to pay back and earn money. You got to work like 18 years to make that kind of money. Do you know what I'm saying? Guys and gals, and in real estate, all we got to do is learn a few scripts. Hey, 3 of those 8 scripts are less than 5 questions. One of them's 2 questions. Turn to your neighbor and say, you can do that, right? I know you can. Okay, good. Seller, you're asking sellers for a lot of money when you're the listing agent, aren't you? You're asking me for 6% of the sale of my home. So we're going to have to dress up your skills a little bit, get some systems in place, make sure your materials look good. But I mean, it's not that big of a deal. And it's not going to cost you anything to be able to become that listing agent. Who's on board? All right, so I jotted down before we get into objection handling that there's 7 things you're going to have to master to become a solid listing agent. There's 7 things you've got to master. You guys ready? All right, the first one. First thing you have to master is the ability to find people each day who want to buy and sell real estate. Find people each day who want to buy and sell. And circle the word find. You've got to master this, the ability to find them. In the margin, let's write down things you've heard before. Let's write down the words wait, buy, and find. Because there's truly only 3 ways that any of us in this room can get new business. It's to wait for it, we can buy it, or we can go find it. Does that make sense? What kind of things fall under waiting for it? Open houses. Anyone involved in open houses? I've done lots of them. Anyone do open houses? Right? Okay, good. Open houses. What do you do at an open house? You put the sign in the grass. You open the door. You bake the cookies. Right? You basically set the trap. And then you wait. And when they come in, you pull the rope, right? Gotcha, right? Now, you're going to build a large, productive, profitable business with baking cookies and opening the front door? No. Can you sell a house or 2 doing open house? Yeah. You can make a paycheck and find money that way, but you're not going to do anything big. Does anyone in the room want to do something significant with their business? Yeah. Not just do a few deals, but you want to do something significant? Okay, then I hope I have your attention. You've got to master being able to find people. What do we call finding people that want to buy and sell? What's the word we use? Prospect for them, right? Generate leads, okay? You see, this is the part where that as a real estate agent, it breaks down for most of us in the business because we've never had sales training. We don't have a sales background, and this activity of prospecting is super uncomfortable, and I don't want to do it. Does that sound familiar? Right. Okay. So I think it's important that you, before we go further, that you jot down maybe somewhere else what is the process of sales. There's a process in sales. Who had direct sales background before? I think there was a couple of you. What'd you sell, sir?
Supplements, training.
Supplements and training. Did people come to you?
No, went after them.
Okay. How did you find new customers? You called people or you visited people?
I called. Talk to people in the gym. Yeah, so pretty much just prospect.
Okay, so you prospect. You attempt to set up like a meeting or an appointment, a free training. So you would, and then during the free training, you present what the benefits of the gym are and the cost and everything, and then you ask them to get involved. And if they couldn't make a decision right now, you'd follow up later and ask them to get involved again. Sound right? Yep. Who else had direct sales background? What'd you sell, miss? It's what? I'm sorry. Yes, I know test. Clothing, retail? Okay, but not retail, direct, like you were out having to find customers. Who had that job? Nobody? All right. So, okay, what'd you sell, miss? Phone lines? How'd you find new customers? Call them? What would you do? Set up an appointment over the phone? You'd present what you have, and then you ask them to buy. And if they don't buy, you follow up and ask them to buy again. Turn to your neighbor and say, I think this is sales. Yeah, this is sales. Okay, watch step 1. Repeat after me. Generate leads.
Generate leads.
Convert the lead to an appointment. Make a presentation. Ask them to buy. And if they don't buy, follow up later and ask them to buy again. Do you understand? This is the process in every sales industry, except for, guess what? Except for real estate. And look what we've done to it. We've destroyed it. Now it's about making friends and getting to like me and passing out a bunch of garbage and hoping that people call. And no one has any skills. No one has any training. Right? Pumpkins. You guys got, hey, by the way, it's October 5th. You got your pumpkin order in? I think today's the cutoff if you want your order in. Are you a pumpkin truck? Oh, and you sell them the pumpkins, right? But I mean, just listen. And I've never bought pumpkins, but I bought flags. I put flags in the grass. I did magnets. I did football calendar. January, I passed out a calendar for the year with my picture on it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they told me to do at Prudential California Realty. I had no idea what to do, and I never went out and found any other training outside on my own. So I did whatever they said. They said do open houses, geographic farming, and a lot of floor time. I said, sir, yes, sir. And I did open house every weekend, and I was signing up. I was on that floor time sheet. I dominated the floor time sheet, and I had to have a nighttime waiter job to pay for all the garbage I was passing out every month to my farm. What do you pass out in January? Calendar for the year. February, here's a box of chocolates with my business card on it. Happy Valentine's. Here's some chocolates from Century 21. Right? March, you come back. It's St. Patty's Day. Here's some green something or other. Hey, happy Easter. Here's my business card. Hey. Right? And we're passing it out to the same people that don't need our service. We keep giving them stuff. And we give flags and like, what are you guys like? You guys, these newsletters people send me, real estate. Why not send me a newsletter showing me what the value of my house is this month or this quarter? I don't need a meatloaf recipe from a real shirt. I dry clean everything, right? I don't need any seeds. God. People pass out flower seeds in the spring. Here from Ron, I'll plant these seeds in your house. It's like, I don't farm. I'm not a farmer. I'm a hunter. Everybody go like this. I've learned how to go out and find the business. I know where it is. I know what they like. I know what to say when I get there. And I've captured them before. I go out and hunt every day, right? Who wants to be a hunter? All right, we're in the right room. So a couple things we have to master. We have to master finding people each day. We have to stop waiting for business to come to us. Why do most agents wait for the business to come to them? Because they are scared. Let's just say scared more than anything else. They're afraid. What are you guys afraid of? You're afraid to get an objection that you can't handle, right? Because if I get an objection that I can't handle, what does that mean? It's embarrassing for me. And God forbid I should ever be embarrassed or do anything slightly wrong. But see, most of our egos won't allow us to get into an embarrassing situation ever. It won't allow it. It'll tell you to do something else. You'll think about prospecting. It's like, no, let's go make a flyer. Right? It doesn't want you doing it. But guys, think about this. Someone confronted me years ago on this because I was scared to death to prospect and do any of this. But my coach said to me, Ron, think about this. Your daughters, and they were young at the time, your daughters are not living the lifestyle they could live because of your little fear that you won't get over. Like I'm afraid to call a FSBO. Therefore, I'm not going to get a $10,000 commission from any FSBOs. And I'm afraid to call expireds because they might say something that I haven't learned an answer to yet. So I'm definitely not going to convert any of them. I'm afraid to call my friends and family because I might mess up the deal. So I'll just wait for them to call me someday. It's like, what kind of a business is this where we operate on our fears like that? But when someone told me that my family, their lifestyle was compromised because of my little fear in my head to possibly embarrass myself somehow, that I won't know what to say in a conversation, I can't stand that. I was not having that anymore. There's no way a little fear inside of my head is going to make their lifestyle compromised, or that I have to drive a Toyota when I could be driving a Porsche if I would just make my damn calls. You know what I mean? Do I have your attention?
Yes.
Raise your hand if you have other people counting on you to earn money in this job. Me too. Me too. Let's think about them as we go forward. Fair enough? Because this is why we're going to become a listing agent, because it's going to help you. It's going to help everyone around you. It's going to allow you to help more people buy and sell property. So the second thing we have to be good at is aggressive lead follow-up. Aggressive lead follow-up. If you're going to generate leads, you have to be good at aggressively following up with your leads. Let's do a little be honest. Does anyone in the room have leads that you're not really following up with?
Yes.
Okay. Can I understand? Can you tell me why you kind of hesitating calling? Not organized. So they just sit there. What else? What, you don't have enough time to call them? How many leads do you have? Okay, so that'd probably take about, what, 15 minutes? You don't have extra 15 minutes, or that's what you tell yourself. I don't have time. All right, good, right? Well, we typically don't do our follow-up because it's like, well, we got rejected the first time we asked for the appointment or the business. They said no, that's why I'm following up. Well, what am I going to say now? Well, I'm just not going to call. They know my number. They'll call me. And we wait for them to call us. So, Alfredo, I want you to aggressively follow up. Now, when I say aggressively, I don't mean like this. Alfredo, set an appointment with me. Say yes. Say yes now. I don't mean aggressive like that, okay? I mean that you're going to follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. You're going to be on top of it. Freddie, your follow-up is your chance to show the sellers what a great salesperson you are. And when you're following up with me, the seller, you're showing me how you're going to behave when there's a buyer interested in my house. You're going to be all over it with that lead for my house. But if you're not following up with me aggressively, you're showing me exactly how you're going to behave with all the people interested in my home. Lackadaisical, unorganized, afraid, don't have time to call the leads for my house. Is that what you want to demonstrate? But see, you're not calling and following up because you're afraid. Turn to your neighbor, look him right in the eye. Your neighbor, look him right in the eye. Don't look away, look him right in the eye. Now say, my God, you're good looking. Right? Did you tell him? Right? No, but look him right in the eye and tell him it's time to get real. It is. You guys, there's no limit in this industry, and most of us are failing at it at a high level, and shouldn't be any reason for it. So we've got to be good at finding the business. We've got to be great at following up with our leads. Write down number 3. We have to be great at pre-qualifying anybody that has interest in our business. Pre-qualifying people. Do you appreciate when a doctor diagnoses you thoroughly before suggesting procedure or prescription? Do you appreciate a thorough diagnosis on the doctor's part? Pre-qual is us diagnosing the sellers or the buyers. But we don't pre-qual because we are afraid. We're afraid we'll bother them. We're afraid this is too much. We're afraid if I ask too many questions, I might discover that I don't have a lead. And then what am I even here for? So I'm just going to pretend like I do. I'm going to stay in the matrix and pretend like I have leads. Some of you get that movie, right? Pre-qualify. So watch, Frank, watch. if I was a doctor and you came to me and said, hey, Dr. Ron, I have a pain in the back of my head, right? I go, no kidding. You know what? I'm hearing that a lot lately. Take a couple of these. You'll be fine. Would you accept that?
No.
No. What do you expect the doctor to do?
To assess you.
You expect me to ask you questions, right? Frank, when did the pain start? How is it, dull or sharp? Have you ever had it before? Have you hit your head? Has there been trauma? Are you on medication? Have you changed your diet? Let's check your blood pressure. Let's do all these things. And then when I say, you know what? We ran all the tests. I get what you have. It's no big deal. You'll be fine. It's gas. Okay? It's just gas. But you expect to be diagnosed, right? What would you think of a doctor that didn't ask you a bunch of questions about your situation? Didn't care, not professional, cheap, quack, whatever. Is that how you want to be perceived? No, but you're not pre-qualifying for weird reasons. It's your job to understand what they're doing. Now listen, guys, I'm clear that most of their reasons for selling are very typical. They're common. They're just like everybody else's that I've helped before. But they're not typical and common to the customer. To the customer, it's the most important thing in their life right now. They're extremely unique to them. And when you don't address their concerns, their questions, their wants and needs, you're not doing a good job. And then they don't trust you. They don't trust what you offer. Right? But watch this, Alfredo. When you sell the home, I'm sorry, Armando, when you sell the home, where you folks go? I like Alfredo better. What do you guys think? Yeah, a little more sexy or something. Armando. Armand. Ari. Armand. God damn it. Armand. Sorry. Okay, good. I forgot what I was going to do now. No, I was going to say, no, I did. I forgot. Okay, let's go. It'll come back in a minute. All right, but we've got to be good at pre-qualifying people. Fair enough? Look, Mike Ferry, we provided a pre-qualifying script. It's 12 additional questions after you set the appointment. It opens up other answers for you, and it's very important. Now, somebody said something to me one time. I think you'll appreciate this. She came to her coaching call, and she says to me, Ron, I had an aha moment this week. Tell me about it. She goes, I realized that the pre-qualification call is the presentation. And when you go to their house, that's just to get the contract signed. And Mike agrees. Many people decide on you during the pre-qual. They decide they're going to hire you when you're pre-qualifying them. That's where they go, well, she really knows her stuff. Hey, honey, I think we found her. You know what I'm saying? She knows her stuff, and they decide, and then the signature is just the formality when you get there. We got a pre-qual. Number 4, we have to go on presentations daily. Go on presentations daily. Turn to your neighbor and say, did he say daily? What do you mean, Ron, daily? What do you mean by daily? I mean, you should be going out every day. I don't get why you're not. Well, I do. Whatever you do in the morning is not necessarily lined up with going out every day. Or how many people you talk to is not lined up with going out every day. I don't know. My job is to present the services and products of the Mike Ferry organization. I do it as much as possible during the day, right? And that's what I want you guys to think about. Going on presentations. I'd like to see a show of hands. If my wife and I wanted to sell our home, we wanted to sell our home and invite you over to find out what C21, what Masters, what you're all about, and what you can do for us. Raise your hand if you have a nice little presentation that you have prepared already that you could come deliver to my wife and I. Okay, it's about a third of you. And the other 2/3, you have no presentation to deliver when you come over? So you have no intention of taking listings, do you? Or were you going to make something up on the drive over? Which is it? Which do you think is more powerful? Professional listing scripts or something that you make up as you knock on the door? Yeah. But see, it's interesting how agents don't have a listing presentation. Would you like to deliver the best presentation in the country and it takes less than 15 minutes? I want to teach you how to do that. Okay? It's not a big deal. I mean, even if you didn't use ours, as long as you had a canned presentation to deliver, that'd be better than whatever you're going to do. See, a presentation focuses on their price and their motivation. Our presentation does. If you're not using a canned presentation, what do you talk about when you get there? What was that? The puppy? Yeah, but what do we talk about, right? Okay, good. So we've got a master going on presentations. We also have to be able to master asking them to sign a contract. We have to master asking them to sign a contract, right, Michael? And asking them and answering their objections. We have to master asking them to sign a contract and mastering objections. Okay, everybody, when you're done writing, just look up here. Okay, everybody repeat after me. Say, Ron, will you sign the contract, please? Okay, good. Now smile and say it again. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ron, good. Now smile, nod, and say it again. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ron, good. Now take your pen and paper, extend it out, smile and nod, and say it again. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ron, will you sign the contract, please? One more time. Ron, will you sign the contract, please? Don't answer. Don't stop nodding and smiling and extending until I answer. One more time. Ron, will you sign the contract, please? Sure. All right, good. All right. You got to be master asking that. Now, anyone in the room, I don't know if you've heard, have you heard me teach that 8 out of 10 homeowners, you're going to have to ask them 5 times for the appointment, 5 times for the signature before they say yes. Have you heard that before? You have to close 5 times? Raise your hand if you know how to do it. Oh, man, 1 of you, 2 of you, 3, 4. How many of you can close 5 times? Like if I said, listen, we're interested in selling and interested in C21 Masters, but I have to talk to the wife. If I wouldn't get off of that objection, you could handle it. You could close me. I say I have to talk to my wife. Who can handle it right now? Okay. And if I said it again after your handler, if I go, look, I've got to talk to her. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Can you go again? Who can go a 3rd time, a 4th time, and then the 5th time? Turn to your neighbor and say, I need to learn how to do that. Right. Must learn how to do it. Is that working okay? Okay, good. Right? Close 5 times, and then we have to handle the objections. My goodness, people. See, everybody groups up, oh, Ron's going to do objection handling. We're going to go to this thing, right? You know what you should really focus on is your presentation, because your presentation is creating the objections. The way you prospect and use the scripts is creating the objections. It's not them. Turn to your neighbor, look at them, and say, it's you. It's you. You're creating them, right? But we've got to learn how to do it. Okay, good. 2 more. We have to learn how to negotiate with them and for them. We have to learn negotiating skills, negotiating techniques. And your natural abilities may or may not be effective. But there are things you can be trained to do to be a really strong negotiator. You have to learn how to do it. It's mostly just being able to sell at a high level, because negotiating is selling them on something. Fair enough? Okay, good. Raise your hand if you have questions. And then the last thing that you've got to master of these, the number 7, is going to be starting over at the top of the list every day. It's the hardest part. Starting over every day and doing them again and again and again for 240 days a year. It's the hardest part, starting over. So who wants to be a great listing agent? Who wants to be the employer? Who wants to make a lot of money? Say, I do. I do. Okay, good. You've got to master these 7 things. Some of them you might already have down pretty good. Some you may have not even touched yet, but it's time to get started. You've got to master finding people, following up, pre-qualifying, presenting, closing, and handling objections. And you've got to be a good negotiator and being able to start over every day. Fair enough? Okay, good. Questions on those things, on those 7? Now, as you start to become a listing agent and you're focused on number 1, finding people each day, you're probably likely to run into objections that people say when you come over. Does that sound about right? Okay, so let's talk about what kind of things do you hear? Well, before we do, I'll tell you what, let's just take like 15 seconds. Someone that you're sitting next to, share with them what are the 3 most common objections you hear just going throughout your day every day. Share with them now. Okay. All right, let me hear from you. What are the common ones?
We're gonna wait till next year.
Okay, shh. We're gonna wait till next year. Okay, good. We'll start hearing that. Shh. We're gonna wait till next year, wait till January, wait till after the holidays. Those are not 3 objections. Those are 1. That's 1 objection. Remember I said there's the core and then there's versions. You have to identify that those are versions. We're going to wait till January. We're going to wait till after New Year's. We're going to wait till after the holidays. It's the same objection. Isn't that cool?
Yes.
Yeah, but I see a lot of people treat it as like 3 different ones. It's the same thing. So you only have to learn really 1 way to deal with it, and you can handle all 3. Okay, what else do you hear? Commission? What about it? Like, okay, that's just a question. What would the objection be that you hear? How about I'm not paying 6%?
Yeah.
That's an objection. Okay. Are there versions of that? I'm not paying 6%. It's too high. I'm not paying that. I want to negotiate. Will you cut your commission? Another agent said they would. Those are all the same objection. Which when I figured that out, I was like, oh, okay, well, it's not so hard and complicated. Okay. What else do you hear? Tess.
I want to interview one more agent.
Okay, after when you present, then they want to interview someone else before making a decision. Good. Anything else? I already have someone in mind. Okay. Others? So you guys are struggling right now. The truth is you can't really think about what they are because there's only 3 or 4. Go ahead.
There's a couple things I have to do.
Yeah. Before I can put it on the market, right? We want to do some fixing up or some cleanup or some painting or something before we get on the market. Okay. And whatever, yes, Michael. If I bring you a buyer, you'll pay me a percentage, 3%, 2%, 1%. They'll pay me $500 or something, right? Okay, good. So we all agree we hear these things every day, okay? Yes, sir? Have a friend in the business. Very good. We hear that daily. Have a friend in the business. Okay, good. All right, so let's discuss what is an objection. What's the definition of an objection? Is it hold on, hang on to it. Is it the end of the conversation? Is that the definition? Okay, it's a question. Go ahead. It's a concern. Okay, let's look at it that it's a question in the mind of the customer that hasn't been answered yet. It's a question, and I want you to look at it that way. It's a question. It's not the end of the call. It's not the end of the conversation. Nice to see you. It's a question. But, I was always wondering, but why don't they just ask the question? That'd be so much easier if they just ask. Why do they have to object? Any thoughts? Of? Because? Okay, they don't want to have to commit to anything. What was yours? Okay. They don't just ask us because, well, watch this. How many of you appreciate being vulnerable to a salesperson? Do you like to be vulnerable? When you are considering a new car, do you walk onto the lot and just tell them your whole scenario? I got $25,000. I can pay, $500 a month, and I'm not supposed to tell you this, but I want to drive the car off today. Do you go in and tell them all this? No. What do you do? Because you're very, people do, but I'm one of them now too. But I didn't used to be. I would come like this. They'd be like, "Hi, can I help you? Welcome to Joe's Chevrolet." And I'd be like, can I help you? And I'd say, oh, no, no, no. What do I tell them? I'm just looking. And then I'm very vague and I withhold. And he's just trying to help me find a car, sell me a car, and I'm withholding. Do you guys do this as well?
Yes.
I've seen you guys even, you reject salespeople. They try to offer you things. You see them at the mall. How about the Dead Sea Salt people in the kiosk in the mall? I mean, they see my crow's feet from a mile away, and they're like, "You come here," and I'm like, "No," But everyone's trying, here, we're going to try this. We're going to buy this. Here, try this. And we're always like, no, no, no. Even at Costco, they're giving away cheese and crackers. Here, try that. No, thank you. We're just a no across the board. Because consumers, when there's salespeople around, they like to keep their cards closed. They're not going to show you all their cards. They're like this, right? They don't want you to see. Why not? Because they don't want you to come after them. They don't want you to sell them. They don't want to have whatever they're anticipating happen. So they don't want you to see their motivation. So they don't ask you a question. Hey, Freddie, would you work with Michelle and I on the commission? As soon as I say that, he knows he can get me. I just opened it up. I just showed him, look, would you work with us? Because we really can't afford it. We want to buy this house. And I don't want you to know that. So I'm not going to say, will you work with us on the commission? I'm going to say, I'm not paying 6%. And then I wait and see how you respond to that. Okay? So let's look at it. If the objection was, I'm not paying 6%, what could the question possibly be? What could they be trying to ask you? Okay, they could be trying to convey to you that I need to net a lot of money. Okay, that's fair. What else? Am I worth the 6%? I'm not going to ask you that, Tess, because I already know what you're going to say. Well, Tess, do you really think you're worth 6%? Your answer is no. Oh.
I'm worth 10.
Okay. All right, we got to work on your role playing. Okay. Right? But they're not going to ask. So what they do is they object. So what else could the commission be? If I said I'm not paying 6%, what else could I be asking you? Will I give us a break? Is it flexible? Will you negotiate it? Is it worth it? What do I get if I decide to pay it? This is what they're trying to say. Okay, so because it's a question and you've learned that, again, I know you've heard this before, because you've learned it now, you don't have to be nervous or upset about objections. You should be excited about getting them because you're only getting the objection because they're considering you to some degree. And they're going to see how you deal with it. You wouldn't get the objection if you were not being considered. You would get the hang up or time to go. You're getting objections. They want to see what you're going to say and how this is going to work out. This is their negotiating abilities. They're trying to ask and negotiate with you. Can you guys accept this?
Yes.
So like when you come to productivity school, and I know you guys have been, I've had you there before, we teach you a new context to getting objections. You're no longer like, they say, I'm not paying 6%. And you're like, ooh, I don't know. It's no longer that. Now, when you get the objection, I'm not saying 6%. You're going to say, I'm so excited you brought that up. Let's try it. I'm not paying 6%.
I'm so excited you brought that up.
Because I'm just trying to communicate, and I'm kind of afraid of you, and I don't want you to know everything because you're a salesperson. You know this is going on, so you should smile and think to yourself, oh, I'm really glad you brought that up. Are you guys with me? You're only getting them because they want to see what you've got, see if you can do it, see what you say, see if it makes sense for them. So I want that to change it for you. And I also want to instill in you that you guys stop playing like amateurs and figure out how to handle these common objections. I mean, you probably in this office, you don't even need me. With the group you have here, you guys could come up with these really strong responses yourself. Okay, I want you to commit to that. Stop playing like an amateur, all right? If you're gonna be a professional golfer, you have to know how to hit out of the sand. Does that make sense? Because sometimes it ends up there. And what if you're a professional golfer and you're great at everything, but you can't hit out of the sand? You won't be winning. You won't make any money. All right? Is that a good analogy? Does that help you? Okay, you got to learn the parts of your job. There's certain things that you've got to learn. Like a golfer has to learn how to hit the driver, how to putt, how to hit out of the sand, how to hit out of the rough, how to hit into the wind. They have to learn all this kind of stuff. It's just basics to be a golfer. Basics to be a salesperson or a listing agent are what I'm talking to you about now. Questions? Comments? Hallucinations? Go ahead.
I have a question. So on our script, when they tell you, I only want to pay you I only want to pay you less, whatever. So you say, no, any other question, right? It is a pretty strong answer for an agent. So how do you make it in such a way where you're not responding that strong as far as that, where a client is like, no?
You guys all know our premier coaching is $1,000 a month. Tess asked me if you can have it for $900. Ask me if you can have Mike Ferry's coaching for $900 a month.
Well, can you just do it for
No, Tess. Any other questions before we sign you up? I understand, but it's $1,000, has been since 1988. Everyone in the program is paying $1,000, and that's the cost of the program if you want to work with us. What's more important, the quality of your sales training, or are you looking for the cheapest coaching company? Quality, sign here, press hard. Right? I don't know, but the answer is no. And your first answer, but see, your first, oh, we're just getting started. We're gonna have a good time today, right? Okay, but your first answer should just be no with a smile, Tess. It doesn't have to be harsh. Smile and say. So Tess, let me ask you, could you give Michelle and I a break on the commission? It's a lot of money. No, that's fine. I had to try, right? If you say no, some people just go, nah, okay. Have you ever noticed that some people just want to feel like they're getting something, a little extra? Some people just feel like they just want to get a little extra. And so they come in and they ask for 2% off. Like, what? No, but I'll give you $500, gift card. Oh, okay. They just feel like they want something. I had one lady who was going to join Premier Coaching with me at a seminar like 10 years ago. And then she told me, then she wasn't. And I was like, okay, well, which is it? She says, well, I just don't know. Maybe I'm just going to think about it. And I said, okay. And I wasn't sure. And I was looking around and I was behind our table in the back of the seminar. And there's boxes of stuff. And I don't know why, but they had sent me a box full of like 3 red Mike Ferry t-shirts. So she says, I don't think I am. I think I'm going to wait a week or two and see how it goes. And I want her to sign up now. So I was like, okay. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, if you want to sign up now, I have a small red Mike Ferry t-shirt. I'll give it to you. She's like, I'll join. That's it. You know what I'm saying? What is it, a $5 t-shirt or something? So sometimes people just want to feel like they're getting something, okay? So, so I always try. I always go in and ask for discounts and I get shut down. I still buy it. I try to get a senior discount. Like when my hair's long, I got gray hair. I ask them, do you have a senior discount? And they're like, yeah. They don't know what to say. They're not sure. All right. So how about, okay, so we're clear it's a question. We're clear they're not trying to get rid of you necessarily. And it's your job to learn how to respond. Fair enough? Okay. So turn to a clean sheet of notes or where you can take notes on objection handling. And let's write down, see, because I've realized that there's 2 types of objections that come in. We get objections when we prospect. And we get objections, like at the beginning of a prospecting call. That's where most of your objections come, is at the beginning of your prospecting call. Am I correct? Okay, for those of you that prospect, let's say that in a day you make 25 contacts. How many times did you actually make it through the script? Out of 25 contacts, how many times did you make it all the way through the script? What's typical? Once, maybe twice. And if I got through it 3 times, I'm like, yes, because I'm for sure getting an appointment that day. If I got through it 3 times, the challenge is getting through it because they get rid of us or we give up or we don't know how to respond at the beginning. Objections at the beginning, we call them a what? Reflex no. in the beginning of the call. It's a reflex no. It's a knee jerk no. Just like when you encounter salespeople, you go to the department store to buy a new dress, you walk in and they say, hi, can I help you? And you say, right? Nope, just looking. And you have every intention of driving down to the mall to buy a dress for the party. And then you tell them you're just looking, okay? A reflex no. Hi, salesperson on the phone. Nope, not interested. No, thank you. Don't need it. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. How many of you hang up on telemarketers? Do you believe in karma? Apparently not. Right? Reflex no. What do they sound like, reflex no's? What do you hear in the beginning of a call? Share with me. I'm not interested. Do you ever hear that? I don't know you. I'm going to die here. I'm not selling. F off. You're the 5th call or you're the 10th caller. They might say that in the beginning. What else? How'd you get my number? Take me off the list. I'm on the DNC, the do not call. Okay? Reflex no's. When you get a reflex no, is your job to hang up? What's your job? Your job is to keep going. Many people are committed to that reflex no, like they mean it, like, nope, click, right? Other people don't necessarily mean it. They just respond that way, and they have no intention of hanging up. I tell you, I've built a career. I've made a lot of money off people telling me, I'm not interested, and then 10 questions later, we have an appointment for 5 o'clock. Has that happened to you, Freddie? Where they go, no, we're not, blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, okay, well, look forward to meeting you at 5. 10, 11 questions later. You got to understand it happens that way. You can't just, don't expect them to be in, don't have the expectation that they have to be warm when you call or that they have to be friendly. They don't have to be anything for you. Your ego says that. You're calling into their house, their castle. They can be or do anything they want. Can you allow them to be angry? Say yes. Yes. Can you allow them to be frustrated? Yes. Will you allow them to be annoyed with you and all your coworkers calling? Allow them to be that way. They get to. Okay? So when you get a reflex no, you have 3 steps to follow. Step 1 is to repeat what they said. Repeat what they said to the best of your ability. Try to repeat it, guys, as they said it. Don't paraphrase. Paraphrasing's not the same experience. Okay, so for instance, if you ask me where I'm moving to when I sell, ask me.
Where are you moving to?
I'm moving to Miami.
Oh, Miami.
Okay, so you said it as I said it. I said Miami. Now let me ask you, when you sell the home, ma'am, where are you moving to?
Moving to Arcadia.
Oh, you're moving here in the area.
Yes.
See, I paraphrased. She said Arcadia. And I said, oh, you're staying here locally or you're staying here in the area. No, she said Arcadia. So I want to repeat Arcadia. If she said to me, I'm moving to South Beach in Miami, and I go, oh, you're moving to Florida. No, she didn't say Florida. She said what? South Beach. That has an emotional thing for her. It means something for her. And it also shows me that you're paying attention when you repeat what I said. So step 1 with a reflex no is to repeat. Step 2, write down approve/agree. Approve, agree. You want to approve of what they say. You've heard the adage, the customer is always right. Live it in this, especially with this. No matter what they say, no matter how ridiculous it is, how rude, how mean, how outrageous, they're right. And I want you to be able to approve or agree with whatever they said. I'm not interested. You're not interested? Makes sense. You have a friend in the business? Good for you. You've already chosen someone? It's nice to have someone you can trust. You don't like C21? I understand. Interesting. Okay, when they say something that you don't know how to respond, your word is interesting. Right? Oh, you real estate agents are liars.
Interesting.
You can't get defensive. Well, some are, but I'm not. I've been doing it for 20 years. Defending, justifying. The moment you, in objection handling, the moment you correct them or disagree or disapprove or make them wrong, you're done. You're done. You think you're going to call me up and make me wrong? Not happening. I'm not going to talk to you. Why would I want to do that? Okay. Or correct me. You know, why do you think your home didn't sell, sir? He says, oh, the market's awful right now. Well, no, actually, the market's pretty good. Interest rates are low and la, 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 la. You're correcting him. One time, Frank, I took some friends' clients out to dinner at the Superstar Retreat. Me and 7 people at that steakhouse at the MGM. It's like $125 a head. I was forking over a bunch of money for this dinner. And we're sitting at this big round table. I order my steak. I'm sorry. I don't like it red. I order my steak medium well. Waiter brings me the steak. It's bleeding. Right? It's like pink and red, and it's not the way I prefer it. So he brings it, and I cut in. I'm like, oh, okay, that's not. It's no big deal for me. I worked in a restaurant 20 years. No big deal. I said, young man, do you mind taking this back? I asked for medium well. And he goes like this. Sir, here at the steakhouse, this is perfect medium well. This is how we do it here. And he puts it back down in front of me. And my head about popped off that I was so embarrassed in front of my clients. What should he have said? Yes, sir, I'll take care of that right away. I'll have it back out in just a minute. And then he could go back and talk to me to the chef about like some jerk out there. What you do? Whatever, but not here. The customer is always right. Never make them wrong. You're going to repeat and agree or approve. Fair enough? Step number 3, when you get a reflex no, ask the next question. Ask the next question. Okay? You know, like the next question on this, we usually will ask the first question on the script, we get a reflex no. When do you plan on interviewing the right agent for the job of selling your home? I'm not listing my house. And then I have to say, you're not listing your house. Let me write that down, or interesting, or that's okay, or good for you, or that sounds important. You're not listing your house, Frank. That sounds important. Let me write that down. Sir, if you had sold the home, where were you going next? And then here we go. How soon do you have to be there? What do you think stopped you from selling? How'd you pick the last agent you listed with? What did that agent do you like best? What do you feel they should have done? Blah, 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 through the script, right? Keep moving through the script. Repeat, approve, ask the next question. Say it. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Repeat, approve, ask the next question.
Do you understand? Or ask another question. It doesn't have to be the next script question. It can be another question. So I call up, hey, it's Ron at Century 21 Masters. And he says, I'm in a meeting right now. You're in a meeting right now? Sounds important. Should I be brief? A question. Not I'll be brief and then you just start yakking. I ask. You're walking into a meeting. You're taking your kids to school. You're in the shower. Interesting. Should I be brief?
No, you should get off the phone.
Okay, well, sometimes they may say I should get off the phone, and I probably would at that time. I'd hang up on your ass. Okay? I'm just joking. I'd hang up, right? But most of the time they say yes. I go, should I be brief? Downswing. Should I be brief? Say it. Downswing. Should I be brief? And they go, yeah, be brief. And then you just go into your script at your normal rate of speech, normal pace. Anybody watch American football? Pro football? Okay. You watch soccer then? Okay, that makes sense. All right. When they give the ball to the running back, his job is to take the ball and run it to the end zone, but there's people trying to stop him and people in his way. If he runs into like where these two block me, if I run into these two block me, do I just go, oh, darn? Is that what I do? No, they block me and I keep pushing, and I keep my feet moving. I'm going to roll out and I'm going to come up this way and I'm going to keep my feet, and you're trying to pull my jersey and I keep going because sometimes I break away. Meaning I got to the next question. Now he's talking to me. In the beginning, he was like, no, no, no. If you guys look at like expired script, questions 4 and questions 5, those are the hooks. Those are the ones that if they're going to talk about 4 and 5. What do you think stopped your home from selling? Oh, let me tell you, the agent, she was la, la, la. Then number 5, How did you happen to pick the last agent you listed with? Oh, my wife brought him over here. You know what I mean? That's where they're going to talk. But you got to get through the reflex no's that come at the beginning of the call. Are you with me?
Yes.
Any questions? Repeat, approve, ask the next question. Keep moving down your script no matter what they're saying, okay? So sometimes they're like, I say, if you sold the home, where would you go next? It's none of your business. None of my business? You couldn't be more correct. How soon do you want to be out of this house? Again, it's none of your business. Yes, sir, I agree. Let me take that one off of here. But I do want to know, are you staying here locally or moving out of the area? Well, we're moving out of state. Oh, great. Would that happen? And then I continue down my script. See, but now I got him talking. What do you think stopped your home from selling? And then he opens up and starts talking. You have to keep moving down the script. It's your job. Make sense, everybody?
Yes.
Don't quit giving up. Just agree with what they say. If there's questions they don't want to talk about, no big deal. Forget them. Go down to another question. See if you can get him to talk about number 6. As soon as he opens up and starts talking about number 6 and then number 7, you can come back to number 2, 3, and 4, 5 later. Okay? But keep them talking. Hey, do you think the likelihood of you getting their business goes up when you get off the phone? No, it dramatically goes down when you get off the phone or hang up or give up. Okay? All right, good. All right, so reflex no. So let's practice it a little bit, okay? Let's practice. I'm gonna give you an objection, and you're gonna repeat and approve. Your approval will be, that makes sense. Okay, let's just practice this. So, or you could say either good for you or that makes sense. Those are your approval words. Good for you or that makes sense. Okay, listen, I appreciate the call, Mr. or Mrs. Agent here, but I've got a friend in the business. Repeat and approve. Ready? I got a friend in the business. I'm not paying 6%. Or that makes sense. Or interesting. Okay. You know what? I'm going to take it off the market until the new year. Okay. Now, when you do this, I want you to really sound like you approve. When you are in approval of what their little strategy is or their objection, it means you're not a threat to them and you're not a threat to their strategy. Okay. But if you're like, oh, you're going to take it off the market for a month? Oh, good for you. It makes them wrong. They feel stupid. Are you saying I'm stupid? You know what I'm saying? You've got to really pour it on. Who can act? We got to act like you care and like, oh yeah, makes a lot of sense. I would say this all the time. Wow, that sounds important. Let me write that down. I didn't even have a pen around. I didn't even have a pen. I just say, let me write it down. Let me jot that down. I'm not jotting down anything, right? Let me write that down. Interesting. Good for you. Terrific. Excellent. Oh, that's exciting. You know, that's a valid concern. I share your views. Makes a lot of sense. You're not the first person to say that. Approval. Ask the next question. All right. You guys want to try it with each other? Okay. All right. So, well, I'm not sure what script we should use, but how about we use just the beginning of the expired script? Who knows question number 1 on the expired script? Wait, no, raise your hand if you know the first question on the expired script. Okay. Raise your hand if you don't know the expired script. All right. Too bad for you. All right. All right. We can't do the exercise then. So let's move on. All right. We'll circle around and do it later. All right. Now, when you're closing for the appointment or you're closing for the signature or closing for the price reduction or you're closing for whatever you want them to do, it's a different process to follow. Sorry, the hiccups. Okay, it's a different process. So what you're going to do is when you're asking for the appointment, let's say, and they give you an objection, what's common when you're asking for the appointment? What's common that they'll say, asking for the appointment? Well, I say, can I see you today or tomorrow at 4? What do they typically say? I'll call you back. I got to check with my spouse. What else? I'm sorry? I'm not the decision maker. Okay. All right, good. So when we're closing, we're going to follow 4 steps. We're going to repeat. We're going to approve. We're going to handle the objection, handle, Michael. And then we're going to close. Yes, thank you. We're going to repeat, we're going to approve, we're going to handle, we're going to close. Oh, good. Pass these out to the people who, if you don't know the expired script, look, Neil just printed it for you. You need one, miss? There you go. Remember, I handed that to you. When you become rich and famous, it's because of me. Okay? All right. But I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars with those 11 questions. Okay. Thanks, Neil. You're on it. All right, so now we can try it, okay? So what you'll do is I just want you to ask you're going to partner up. Just stay in your seats, partner up with somebody real quick. Shh, let me explain this first. I want you to just go straight to the first question. Forget the intro, just go straight to the question. When do you plan on interviewing the right agent for the job of selling your home? They'll give you an objection. I want you to repeat, approve, and ask them the next question. Okay, ready, go. Now you do it. And then switch. Then switch. I know, it's okay.
I know you.
Yeah.
I'm curious, when do you plan?
I'm good for a while.
Good stuff, thanks.
I'm sorry? No, I just want you to practice the beginning. You could do it a couple of times, right? Yeah, just use 1 and 2. Do it a few times back and forth. All right, everybody, stop. Stop. Shh. Did everyone do it a couple of times? Everyone do it a couple of times, right? It's not complicated, is it? And then just keep going. And if on number 2 question, if they give you another objection, do the same thing, right? Well, how soon do you have to be there? I don't think that's relevant at this point. Not relevant at this point? You're right. Next question. I hate realtors. I understand. Next question. Next question. Don't stop. And and don't stop until you get to the bottom or until they hang up. Keep going. Have you ever had anybody not be able to hang up on you? Some people can't do it. They threaten to do it, but they can't do it. I'm hanging up on you now. I'm like, well, ma'am, if you did so, where would you go next? I'm hanging up on you now, but then she never does. Yeah, she just keeps threatening it. Won't do it. Okay? Sometimes we can convert those folks. Okay, so reflex note. So now the 4-step, repeat, approve, handle, and then step 4 is close. Repeat, approve, handle, close. Say it. Repeat, approve, handle, close. One more time. Repeat, approve, handle, close. Okay, good. On our website, mikeferry.com, if you click on resources, that's where all of our free complimentary stuff is. All of our scripts have been for free for 44 years. We have a free download on there called 40 Objections Handled. Get it. Okay, in any workbook, in any Mike Ferry workbook that you find around the office or that you may have, in the workbook, you'll find 12 common objections handled in every workbook. 12 objections handled from like productivity school or the listing workshop or sales talk or anything that we've done before. You'll find the 12, and they're very common. Those are real common when you're asking for the signature. Those are all for free on the website. What you want to do first is identify, when you are prospecting yourself individually, what are the 5 most common ones that you get? Okay, identify those. And how are you going to find out what the 5 common objections are? How are you going to find out? You're going to talk to people, get the objection, not be able to deal with it, get hung up on, and then come back to the drawing board, get an answer from him. What does she say? What does he say? What does she say? Develop this for yourself, and then when you get on the phone tomorrow, you'll have a better answer for when they say it again, because they're going to say it again, aren't they? Every single day. It's the same ones every day. Who's been in business more than 20 years? Are the objections different now than they used to be? Same ones. Turn to your neighbor and say, when are you going to learn the answers? My goodness. Right? This is your little company, okay? All right. So when it comes to handling it, you might use a prepared objection handler that we offer, that maybe Neil has taught you or has published or offered, that other people are using, that you developed yourself. I used to write my own objection handlers. I have a Rubbermaid bin in the attic of my garage, in my top of my garage, full of yellow notepads where all I was doing was writing ways to overcome these objections and what to say and how to phrase it and a better response than I was coming up with. I have all these yellow notepads. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. Maybe write a book someday. Who knows? Right? You'll come get them, wouldn't you? Oh, it's gold, baby. I'm telling you, it's gold. Right? But see, I got to a point where I couldn't stand not having the answer. Has anyone ever seen my brother-in-law Matthew Ferry speak? See, he was my first introduction to this dialogue. And when I watched Matthew in a sales conversation, I was like, oh, wow. I feel like a 3-year-old trying to, speak English correctly, and he's just got magic coming out. And I wanted to be able to talk like that. So I started the process. I had to, memorize the scripts. Turn to your neighbor and tell him, it's step 1. If you get a lot of objections, I would bet $20 on each of your heads that you don't have the scripts memorized. See, you draw the objections and you don't know it. When you get one, you blame it on them for giving it to you. But you're creating it and causing it. And you can stop it. Step 1 is memorize the script. Step 2 is practice a lot. Practice a lot, okay? All right, repeat, approve, handle, close. What I'm going to teach you right now is a little different than just using a prepared objection handler. Mike Ferry teaches us rules about objection handling, and those rules are approve, always be in agreement, always approve of what they say and agree, and he says ask questions. So in your little formula, I want you to write next to the word handle, put a little arrow over, and in parentheses put ask 2 questions. So you're going to repeat, approve, ask 2 questions, and close. Let's say that out loud. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Repeat, approve, ask 2 questions, and close. You with me? Would you mind passing these out? Just give those guys one, and could you pass these kind of this, make sure everybody gets one? We got another little handout. You gonna help out? Thank you. Repeat, approve, ask a couple questions, and close. And then do it again, and again, and again. Repeat, approve, ask a couple questions, and close. Oh, I'll need one too. I'll need one. You hold on to that. I'll get it. Save one for me, please. So what I did this morning is I just jotted down some questions, and I titled them closing questions. Thank you. I titled them closing questions, okay? All right. Thanks. Okay, I titled them closing questions because they're questions that we can use at the close. Now, have you ever watched or ever been in court? Do you know an attorney? You ever watch court things on TV? The attorneys have scripted questions that they're going to ask the person on the stand. They would never ask a question that they don't really know the answer to. They ask them this scripted question to draw an assumed response that influences the jury. Do you understand? So what I've done is I typed up a bunch of just general questions I could think of this morning that I already know how they're going to answer because they're a homeowner and I pretty much know what their answer is going to be to these questions. Now I think I have 12 questions on here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 questions. I have 11, but I thought there was 12. Okay. So what I did is I got these questions. Now I told you the formula is to tell me the 4-step formula again. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay. So if I have, say, 10 questions on here and the formula says ask 2, that means I can close how many times? Should we try it out? Okay, let's try it out. Okay, your name, miss? Yoli? Okay, Yoli. So Yoli, let's say I'm going to ask you for the appointment. Okay, we're going to use this. You guys can follow along. Okay, so Yoli, Yoli, are you familiar with the techniques I use to sell homes? What's the best time to show you, today or tomorrow at 4? Okay, you have to check with your husband to see if tomorrow works. Well, that makes a lot of sense because we want him at the meeting. Let me ask you a question. Look at number 1. If I can sell your home in the next 30 days, would that pose a problem for you or your husband? Well, that's a great question. Thank you. I'd like to show you that. And realistically, Yoli, when would the two of you like to see your first offer? Well, then let's do this. The first step in bringing you an offer is just scheduling this brief meeting. I know your husband's busy. Would he prefer 4 o'clock or 5? Pause. Pause. So what did I do? I repeated. I agreed. I asked her number 1. I asked her the second one, and then I closed. Do you understand? And now, did that seem pretty smooth? Did that seem, did she know that I'm asking her scripted questions? No, not at all. Okay? So that don't give up so easy. Don't give me the appointment yet. I want you to stick to the objection. So based on that, would he like the 4 o'clock or the 5 o'clock appointment?
Well, he's quite busy. I don't know if he'll be out of town or anything. I'm not sure.
Okay, good. Well, and that makes a lot of sense, and we can wait a couple of days if that's what has to happen. But I am curious, how much equity do you two have tied up in the home? Quite a bit. Are you the type of people that like to leave money on the table? Oh no, I wrote it differently. I wrote, do you want to take all your equity with you when you move, Yoli? Okay, listen, my job is to get you the equity. I'm clear that he's very busy. Do you think he would prefer the 4 o'clock or the 5? Okay. All right. Makes sense. And thanks for talking with me today. Hey, is your husband the type of guy, would he like the process of selling the home to be easy and say effortless for you and the family? Would that be important for him? Are you and he ready for results versus excuses? Well, I'm excited to meet with you. I'll tell you what, let's just go ahead and pencil in the appointment. If there's a problem with the 4 or the 5, will you call me? Oh, after you check with him. So you're still there? Okay, let's see. Yes, you're doing great. That's what I told you to do. Okay, but we can pause right now. So do you see what I'm doing? She's going to make me do it all. Yes, of course. Okay. All right. So do you see what I'm doing? Okay. What's another objection that we hear all the time?
I'm not ready.
That's not, it's not, okay, you're not ready? Well, listen, I understand. It sounds like you're not ready for any more excuses, but ma'am, are you realistically ready for results?
Yes.
And if I could sell that property and put you under contract in escrow within 30 days from today, would that pose a problem for anyone in the family?
No.
Well, then why don't we go ahead and set the appointment so I can get you what you want in the time you want? Would you prefer 4 o'clock or 5?
5.
And then if she doesn't, I would just do it again. Repeat, agree with her, and ask her 2 more questions, maybe 3, and then close her again. And again, and again, because we have to close how many times? 5 times. Who wants to try it? Come on up, Frank. Let's give Frank some encouragement. Come on, Frank, you can do it. Well, you're going to use this. Now, if you have something, and if you have your own questions, you can pull those out, or you can just use this. So, Frank, listen, there's no chance in hell I'm paying 6% commission.
Well, I'd appreciate that.
Agree.
Oh, okay.
Or, you forgot to repeat. You went right to number 2. Repeat and approve. So there's no chance I'm paying 6%.
Oh, there's no chance you're paying 6%. Okay, I can appreciate that.
These 2.
Okay, cool. Has anyone shown you what you could get for 6%?
Oh, well, no.
Well, no. Have you been shown a written plan to sell this home?
Try again. Say it clear.
Have you been shown a written plan to sell this home?
A written plan? I've not been shown that. No.
Are you open?
Now close.
Okay, well,
Oh, go ahead. Go for that third one. That'd be nice.
are you open to a professional advice?
Maybe.
Great. What would be a better time for you, today at 5 or 6 p.m.?
Give him a round of applause. Yeah, good job. Who else wants to try?
Ready.
Sir, you want to try? Okay. Yeah. Oh, you have a question. Go ahead. Please speak loud. Yeah. Yes. Sometimes the third might be more natural. One typically isn't natural. Two seems to work out most of the time, but if you want to ask another one to before you close, it's totally fine. Whatever you feel, whatever you're feeling. It's just that you won't know. Well, just like in his instance, that third question, are you open to professional advice? That was a nice topper to the other two he just asked. It just kind of flowed, so I told him to do it. Okay? It'll come naturally when you think you have to ask another question. Or if you have a real good one you want to get in there before you close. That works. Okay? Who else wants to try? Okay, come on up, Faisal. All right, Faisal. So you can use these or you can use your own, but we're sticking to the question technique, okay? So Faisal, you know what? I appreciate it. We are going to sell, but I think we might take a break. We're super frustrated. We're going to take a break.
I agree with you. It seems like it was a very tiring process, wasn't it?
It was really tiring. You're right.
You know what? I can appreciate that. Now, if I can sell you home in the next 30 days, that's what the problem is.
Well, I mean, I don't know if that, I wouldn't pose a problem, but I don't know if I believe it, but it'd be okay.
You'd be okay with that. Thank you very much. Now, are you familiar with the techniques I use to sell homes?
No.
That's great. What I would like to do is set an appointment with you for either today at 5 o'clock or tomorrow at 5 o'clock and show you what I do to sell homes so you can make a better decision. Would that work for you?
Well, you know what? I'm just not sure. I just feel like we need to take like a month off. So maybe call me back in November. Just give me a 30-day break.
Okay, you want to have a 30-day break. So would you like to start the process at that time, or would you like to have your home sold by that time?
Well, I mean, ultimately, we wanted to be sold by then.
You want to be sold by then, right? Now, when would you like to see your first offer?
Geez, I've been waiting for one of those for 6 months.
Great. Well, instead of 6 months, if I can get you one in the next 30 days by November, would that be okay with you?
That'd be okay.
Okay, so I'm available today at 4 o'clock or tomorrow at 4 o'clock.
I don't know. My wife is she's all irate right now. She left town. I think we just need maybe 3 or 4 weeks. Just take a little time away from it, and then we'll revisit it again. You can call me.
Oh, thank you very much. Seems to me like you guys are very frustrated and tired of the whole process.
Yeah.
So what did your wife think that? Where were you moving to?
Are you ready for results?
You've already done the where are you moving to.
Yeah.
You're not going to pre-qual. You're going to keep closing. You're on the 1 yard line. You're on the 1 yard line. Don't back off. Don't let up. You're on the 1 yard line.
I want to ask you a very important question.
Shh, let him do it.
Do you want to take all your equity with you?
Of course.
Great. So when would be the best time to see you? Today or tomorrow?
So you see what he's doing? Give him a round of applause. Good job. See, what I want you to understand is that your objection handler or your questions they don't have to bust the objection. They don't have to crush it or dissolve it or eliminate it. All you're doing is you have to close 5 times. Here's what it sounds like when they say yes. Nope, I got to talk to the wife. No way, I got in trouble last time. She's super busy. I gotta run it by her first. She'll kill me if I set an appointment. What the hell? Let's do it. That's how it goes. And it's because you keep pushing. Hey, in professional football, where does the defense apply the most resistance? At what point on the field? The most resistance is applied where? Right at the end zone. Right on the 1 yard line, right there's where they give the most resistance and then you score. You get it? But you can't back off at the resistance. It's always goes like that. Nope, nope, no, no. All right. Do you get it? You got to be able to take them there. Okay? Who else wants to try? Yes, you do. Go ahead, your question. I used to hang up, do some research, then call back and pre-qualify. But what started happening is people wouldn't pick up when I called to pre-qualify, and then I was dead. So then I started doing it on the same call. But when I started doing it on the same call, 11 questions to get the appointment, 12 questions to pre-qual add up to how many? But a couple of you were like, carry the one. Okay, so it's like it gets extensive. So what I started doing is this. Your name, miss? Okay, so Stephanie, someone hit the gong. Okay. So Stephanie, listen, let's pick one. Do you want to meet today at 4 o'clock or would 5 be better? 5 o'clock will be good? Okay, great. Now, when we get together, is it important for you and your husband that we keep our meeting to the point and brief? Okay. Okay, whatever. In order to keep it brief, may I ask you a few additional questions right now? It'll take about 3 minutes. Okay, great. Now I set the expectation, I future paced her, and now pay attention to me, forget them. Pay attention to me. I future paced her, I set the expectation, now she'll sit patiently and answer my questions. But when I set the appointment and I launched into an additional 12 without any explanation, they weren't having it. They're like, can't we just do this when you come over? Or why are you asking me all these questions? See, so I say, in order to keep it brief tonight, can I ask you a few more questions right now? And they always go, yeah, because they want it brief. Okay? Good question. Now you want to try this? She hid behind the pole. Okay? How about you ladies over here? Tess, come on. Come on, Tess. I'll help you. I'll walk you through it. I mean, I gave it to you. It's all in your hand right now, okay? All right, so what's an objection that you think you'll hear on the phone today? See, here's what's funny. You guys all want to come to objection handling, and when I ask you for the objections, you go like this. Oh, let's see. What do they say? I don't even know. Okay, well, let's do yours, and then we'll do yours. Go ahead. Oh, she wants to wait till January, Tess.
So you do want to wait till January. I can totally appreciate that. So Stephanie, if I can actually get your home sold, would that cause a problem to you?
Not really bad. I think that no one's really buying or selling it at this point. Everything is price reduction. I don't want to sell it.
Okay, so you're saying that everyone's doing a price reduction, right? Interesting, and I can totally appreciate that. So let me ask you this: have you actually, you know how I get home sold?
All right, so you're struggling a little bit, right? And I don't know that the questions I have on here would answer that one.
Are you ready? Would you like the process to be easy and effortless for the family?
Yeah, absolutely.
So when would be a good time for me to show you? Today at 5 or tomorrow be better?
I really need to talk to my family if you want to restart this whole process.
Can I ask you a question? And I appreciate wanting to wait till January. Give her a round of applause, Tess. Good job. I appreciate you wanting to wait till January. My question is this, though. If I have to come to you in January and tell you that your house is worth even less, is that going to be okay with you?
No, but no one really knows what
How? You're correct. How much equity do you have in the house? Are you willing to risk it?
but right now it's already been expired. I think it's a person.
Fair enough. If you were clear that you could get more money in the fourth quarter than you could next year, would you attempt to try to sell it now if that was clear to you? When would you like me to show you the evidence, today or tomorrow at 4? Okay, and I'll tell you what, if you decide to wait till January, that's fine. But you may be so excited about what I show you that you want to pull the trigger immediately. I'll be ready for either one. Fair enough? Okay, see you then. All right? Other objections? Okay, so give me some of your common objections that you guys hear. Let's do it again. You can't even think of them now. Okay. So you want to interview another? Okay, so I say, Tess, will you sign the contract, please?
No, really, when you asked me for the fee call, I mentioned to you that we don't make rush decisions.
Yes, ma'am.
We want to interview another agent.
And I understand you want to do your due diligence, correct?
Sure.
Good for you. Repeat and approve. See where I'm at right now? Now I'm sitting there trying to formulate, what am I going to say? What am I going to say to her? It makes a lot of sense, Tess, and I support that. I'll support you in that. On the side note, based on what I've shown you and presented to you tonight, do you feel I have the ability to sell your home? You feel I can sell it, right? Okay, very good. With that being said, Tess, can I make a recommendation? Let's do this. Go ahead and sign the contract now. And as part of the service and to start our relationship, I'll call the other agent, Frank, that you have an appointment with, and I'll cancel that appointment for you. Would you like me to tell you what I'm going to say to him? If she says yes, I got her. If she wants to hear it, I got her. If she goes, nope, I'm keeping my appointment, well, then I'm done. But if she says yes, I got her. So can I share with you what I'm going to say? I'm going to let him know that, hold on, hold on. I haven't called you yet. I'm going to call you in a minute. I'm going to let him know that you thought he was great and you wanted to give him a chance, but that I convinced you to list your home with me. I'll explain to him that the lockbox will be on the door in the morning and he's welcome to bring any buyers over that he may have. Tess, is there anybody besides Frank you want me to call? Stop. That's the objection handler. Out of those 12 I talked about, I think it's number 12, if I'm not mistaken, or not these, it's in our objection handlers. Okay, but that's how I got my first listing in Las Vegas, because the seller had other appointments after me, right? And he was like, you'll call them for me? And I was like, absolutely. As soon as I step out the door, I'll take, that's why you're hiring me, to take off all this uncomfortableness for you. He was like, great. And he signed up. Okay, so we hear that all the time. Sometimes you're not going to be able to get them off of it, but I would close you 3, 4, maybe 5 times on that to try to get you to sign it and just hire me. I tried to give you a way out without you asking for a way out. I gave you a way out. I'll call them for you. Sign. And they bite on it sometimes. But if not, I might have just backed off and said, okay, well, keep the appointment. Tess, here's my backup plan. So go ahead and keep the appointment. So Tess, when Frank comes over, there's a couple things. Take notes. I want you to look for 3 things when he comes over. Does Frank provide you a written plan on how he's going to sell the home? Or is he showing you a bunch of marketing pieces, photographs, and drone video stuff? Okay, is he showing you a written plan or marketing? Look for that, will you? Okay, when he tells you his price, and I know you said he's a little higher, ask him for the comparable sale that he's using for his price. And if he doesn't have a comp to support it, you'll know to sign my contract immediately. If Frank doesn't provide you a copy of his schedule, you know that he doesn't have one, and he's probably not worth the commission he's asking for. Okay? So you're looking for a written plan, copy of a schedule, and what was the other one? And a comp to support his numbers. If he doesn't have any of those, will you call me immediately, Tess? Have fun with Frank. Now, when Frank walks in, and I've got her all loaded up with questions for him, you're going to walk right into it. Right? You're going to get a face full right there. She's going to be like, okay, Frank, sounds good, but let me see, do you have a written plan? You're going to be like, well, no, but I got this really cool virtual tour. Well, what's your schedule, Frank? He's going to be like this. Schedule? I give the seller a copy of my schedule that I follow every day. Do you have a schedule? Yeah. But see, you're going to ask me for my house, you're going to ask me for $60,000 in commission. And you don't have to follow a schedule? You don't have a written plan? You're just showing me postcards and 300 internet sites? I put it in my pre-listing package and send it over there. I learned to separate myself from all of you guys. And I use these basic things to get the business and get them to choose me versus you. Yes, ma'am. I created a schedule for my customer's view. Your name is? Lynn. I would give you a copy of my schedule. Lynn, here's what I do. I start every day at the office at 7 a.m. I prepare for a half an hour. I practice for 30 minutes. I prospect looking for a buyer for your home from 8 to 11. I follow up with any leads for your home from 11 to 11:30. I return phone calls at 11:30, I grab a lunch if I can, and I meet with buyers for your home at 2 o'clock, 3:30, and 5. And I provide that for you. Len, this is the best time to call me is early afternoon if you need help or have a question. Please do not call me in the morning. I'm looking for a buyer for your house, okay? Here's my schedule. I'm trying to show you that I work. What time do you guys show up for work? I was here at like 8:45 and a lot of you were not even here yet. You know what I mean? I can use that all day long to get the business. But I'm not here to compete with you. I'm here to teach you how to do it. Okay. I don't sell real estate anymore. When I say I don't do that anymore. I don't sell. Okay. Questions? Repeat, approve, ask a couple of questions, and close. Let's have some fun. Give me some more objections. Go ahead.
What do you mean the right agent? I have the right.
Yes, ma'am. I can understand. I'm wondering if you sold the home, where would you go next? I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to make you wrong. If you're getting all defensive about that, if you're going to defend your agent, I'm not going to touch that. I'm just going to keep going. Okay. Hold on. Let her finish hers. Go ahead. All right. Go ahead. Yes. Before you sign the listing.
I want to make sure I'm not homeless. I want to go see homes first so I know what's out there.
You want to, before you sign the listing agreement, you want to go see what's out there first, and then you get motivated.
Well, to see that I'm going to actually like something. I've been here almost 30 years.
Okay, so if we go out and follow your strategy and look at houses and you find something, are you able to buy it without having to sell this one?
No, that's what I'm understanding.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, good. So what would you guys do in this scenario? But she doesn't want to list it right now. She doesn't want to list it right now. She wants to go look at houses first, and then she'll list it. Say it. Say it, Armand.
What happens if you find your dream home? And you can't place an offer?
Yoli, so if we go out and look at your house, what happens if you find your dream home and we can't place an offer? Would you rather have the power to place an offer if you found something you love?
Well, you just told me as a realtor that you can sell my house within 2 weeks.
Yes, ma'am.
Can we do the same, like put an offer and tell them wait for us 2 weeks?
You could, but okay, but this is a little more complicated because then I have to explain the contingent offers and why that's not going to work for you. It's not a zippy objection handler. I'm sorry. That's a concern you have, and I would address it with you, and I would come up with a better strategy. I like that you have a strategy, but I have a better one. It's listed now. We'll go start looking at property immediately. That's what I'm going to work for you to do. Okay, but I have to sit and explain it to you. It's more complicated. What else?
Well, I had
Go ahead. You have one? I thought you had one. Okay.
I had this
How about how old are you? And how long in the business? Okay, so how about in your name? Jackie? Jackie, you haven't sold any homes in my area.
What if I can sell your home within 30 days? Would that pose a problem?
That'd be sweet.
Great. Then when would you like to do your first offer?
Today.
Today. Great. So what works for you today at 3 or tomorrow at 4?
Woo, did you hear that? Yeah. No nonsense tone in her voice, right? She's just like very straightforward, very cut and dry. That's how you do it. And then I'd be like, well, see, like you didn't even address the fact that you haven't sold homes in my area. You don't have to address it. You just have to close and then close and then close. The questions, the repeating, and the approval are just what goes in between your 5 closes. It doesn't have to make sense necessarily. It doesn't have to actually answer the question. You just have to line up the next close, line up the next close. And you did it really nice. Just like very matter of fact, no big deal. And just, well, what time do you want to get together? I love it. Good job. Okay. Who else has one? Faisal. Yeah. Okay. So, but watch, there's always a difference between an objection and a condition. A condition is a statement of fact that I can't do anything about. Like I can't change that. You were moving because you're moving to that house. So this could be a condition, right? I would feel it out. Well, Faisal, are you open to buying a different house other than that one? Nope, I wanted that one. Okay, can't help you. Condition, house is gone, we're done. You got to remember what's a condition. What are some other examples of conditions? Yeah, like they can't buy that house because it has stairs. They can't have stairs. My wife just had surgery. I'm not allowed to move her for 8 weeks. She's in bed for 8 weeks. No stress, no noise, no nothing. 8 weeks. That's a condition. I can't get him over that. What else? I retire officially January 5th. I can't do anything until that comes through because it's still up in the air. Exactly. Conditions. Move on when it's a condition. Can't change it. Can't help them. Okay? All right. So, okay. So what I've done here is I just put these generic questions. So what you want to do, maybe you can use these. Maybe you have to add to them or come up with some your own cool questions that you've thought of or developed. I just was like, typing these out in like 10 minutes in my hotel room this morning. You could come up with better ones or things that are appropriate to the objections that you get. Neil.
So on an expired.
Yeah, expired.
Expired. So on the expired says to you, we decided to list with the same agent.
You're going to go with the same agent, Neil, right? You know what? I know that. I get that because it's nice to have people that you can trust. It's all about the trust. How much equity do you have tied up in the house, Mr. Schwartz? Good for you folks. That's a lot of dough. And are you the type of guy that likes to leave money on the table? You don't sound like it to me either. Mr. Schwartz, with $500,000 on the line, you want to take all your money with you. Obviously, you want a second opinion before you rehire the same agent. The good news is mine takes less than 15 minutes. They don't have to know about it, and I can do it today or tomorrow at 4.
Well, I appreciate that, but it's kind of have a relationship.
Absolutely. I noticed you were listed with EXP. How long did you give EXP to sell the house? No, but you had it on for what, 5-6 months? You gave EXP, and I'm not going for the agent because he's got a relationship with the agent. I'm not touching that. I'm going to go after EXP, the company. How long did you give EXP to sell the home, Mr. Schwartz? 5 months. Did they get the job done? Do you think they did the best they could do?
Yeah, I think they worked really hard.
I appreciate that, but here's my question for you, and hopefully you'll allow me to speak to you about this. If they did the best they could, and now they're taking their listing, are they going to be able to do anything else other than what they did before? Now listen, I understand, and it sounds like you're more than likely going to go with your friend, which is okay, but with that $500,000 on the line, I think you folks deserve a second opinion. How about we keep it brief, 15 minutes, I can do it today or tomorrow at 4. All right, I'll just keep going, all right?
I have one more.
Go ahead.
So we've chosen same thing, same scenario, expired. We've interviewed agent, and we've chosen another one, and we have a meeting with them.
Okay, you've chosen another one. You have a meeting tonight. Oh, you're already
It's
meeting with
expired.
them to sign tonight. All right. Well, I'd have to dig for that one. So, okay, well, it makes a lot of sense, Mr. Schwartz. Sounds like you've already got someone in mind. I actually would go for the same one I just did with you. See, watch, when you ask people how much equity they have, and then that pops in their head, and then you suggest, listen to my words, I said, obviously, with $500,000, you want a second opinion. So, Neil, you just segued me into this. I call this one, it's a universal objection handler. Anytime they've decided to do anything, I can ask them, how much equity do you have? And do you want to take it all with you when you move? I have 500 and yes. Then I say, well, obviously you want a second opinion. Now watch, Neil, obviously you want a second opinion before you rehire the same agent. Obviously you want a second opinion before you take 30-day break. Obviously you want a second opinion before you try this on your own, before you decide to cut the commission, before you decide to do anything. Obviously you want a second opinion. So it's always been one of my go-tos for that is I go, how much equity do you guys have? Wow. And then if that's in your head for a second, and then I say, obviously you want a second opinion. When instead of saying, don't you deserve a second opinion? I say, obviously you want one. And see, this is NLP. They have to agree with what comes after obviously, or they look silly or stupid because it's obvious, right? Say it again. NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. It's just a way of communicating, okay? Right? So get in for the other opinion. They've got a lot of money on the line. If they were having a $500,000 surgery, would they get a second opinion? If they're investing $500,000, might they talk to someone else first? Yes, it's a lot of money. So suggest it in that way. Okay. Any other? Oh, hey, you have a buyer. If I bring you my buyer, you'll pay me 3%, Michael? Is that true? Well, thank you very much. What a generous offer. Let me write that down. I'm not writing it down. Let me write that down, 3%. So Michael, what it sounds like is that you're just trying to save the other 3% that it would take to hire someone like me, right? But Michael, a serious question for you, sir. If you knew that by hiring me, if you knew that at the end of the sale, you'd wind up with more cash in your pocket, if you knew that, you'd probably go ahead and hire me, wouldn't you? That's what I want to show you tonight when we meet, and I can show you in less than 15 minutes. Would today or tomorrow at 4 be better? I don't know. I got another appointment just now. Neil?
We say that. We use that.
Yeah.
However, the second thing that's in their head right now
Yeah.
is, how the heck am I going to prove that?
Oh, for these guys?
How am I going to really show that X to make you more money?
Well, he's a for sale by owner right
Okay,
now.
that's what everybody's going through our head.
Okay, good. Well, they need to ask. Okay, so he's a for sale by owner at the moment, isn't he? Listen, Yoli, he's a for sale by owner at the moment. Okay, here's how I can get the for sale by owner more money. You guys ready?
Yes.
You may think it's some magic formula that you have to calculate. Think about this. I can sell it for fair market value. Michael apparently can't sell it. I can get him more than he can. I can get him fair market value. He's been trying for 2 months on his own. He can't get anything. I'm not saying if he sold it and I sold it that I'd get him more money. It could happen that way, by the way, but that's not what I'm telling him. I'm telling him I can sell the house and you can't. That's how I'm going to get you more money. I can get you 500. How much have you gotten for your house? So how much money have you saved, Mr. Michael, so far on selling it yourself? Yeah, how much have you saved so far? Well, nothing. Yeah, because he's not sold yet. So it may be like a trick question or a trick thing to say that I can get you more money, but that's what I'm referring to. Now, if he sold it and I sold it, how can I get him more money? Well, we know that for sale by owners wind up in litigation all the time after they sell the home on their own. They get sued for something after the sale. Does that cost money? Got to pay attorney fees, just whatever it is, right? I know that he's emotionally tied to the property. He's the owner. He did all the repairs. He did all the upgrades. He's emotionally tied. Why don't they let doctors operate on their own family members? Because they're emotionally tied and they make poor decisions sometimes because of that connection. So I can probably get him more money because in negotiations, he's going to be emotional about it and he probably doesn't know how to negotiate or fight for his equity. So there's different ways that you can explain it logically like that, but I just explain it like I can sell the house and you can't. You understand?
Remember on the for sale by owner, we don't want to prove them wrong.
No.
That they really know that they can do it, that they just want to save the commission.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they say, oh, don't worry, I've done this before and I know how to do it.
Okay, so the person who sold their house on their own before, especially if they've done it a couple of times, I think you're going to have a hard time convincing them that they can't do it. You know what I mean? I'll dance with her for a couple minutes to see if there's any interest in talking to me, and then I'm just going to move on. Miss? Okay, there's more evidence. It can be hard to convince you too, right? I'm just saying some of these things you can't, there's not a fancy answer for it. It's almost a condition, almost, it could be. I'd figure that out if that's true. What's your experience? What's your career? Oh, you're a trauma nurse? She's not gonna be able to sell her house on her own. She works 16-hour days. All I have to do is probe around a little bit. How many hours do you work as a trauma nurse each week, miss? Are you gonna try to find a buyer and, close the deal and work your career? Probably not. So I dance around with her a little bit, see if there's anything I can do, and then just move on. Hold on a second. Michael, you're going to pay me 3% if I bring you a buyer. Is that correct? I appreciate that offer. It's very generous. How many agents have you offered that to so far? Question. All the people that call. How many have taken you up on it? How many have taken you up on it? May I explain why they've not taken you up on it, Mr. Michael? Well, you got to look at it this way. For an agent with a ladies, for an agent who has a qualified, motivated buyer, for me to bring my buyer to your unsecured listing, what it means is, for me, double the work, double the risk, double the liability for half the pay I would get if I took them to a normal listing. How many agents do you think are interested in that? I don't know, Mr. Michael, why they say they're going to do it, but it sounds to me like at the end of the day, you just want to net the most amount of money possible, correct? How much do you want to net out of the sale? Are you open to professional advice? If I was able to get you into escrow, say within 21 days from today, would that create any kind of a problem for you? Good. Would you like me to swing by today at 4? Would 5 be better? Do you like can I tell you why no one's taking you up on your offer? Double the work, double the risk, double the legal liability. Half the pay. Yes. Go ahead, Yoli.
Same questions if you ask him, why are you willing to pay somebody that is going to be working against you 3% and not hire somebody that will work with you?
Yeah, that's another one. See, Yoli just brought up another objection. So, Michael, I appreciate the offer of 3%. Can I tell why it makes me a little nervous? Well, see, but with your strategy, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be paying me to negotiate against you. I've had professional negotiating training, Mr. Michael Fisbo. Have you? No? Okay, great. Well, listen, at the end of the day, I can appreciate you want to sell the house and get the most money, but wouldn't it make more sense to have a guy like me on your team, kicking the buyer's booty, getting you the most amount of money? Meet with me for 15 minutes. I'll show you exactly how I'll do it. In fact, can I share what I'll cover if you decide to have me over? Well, would it be important to learn exactly what I can sell this house for and when? Would you like to know what my company charges at Masters so you could compare with all the companies in town? Would that be helpful? And if I could illustrate about how long it would take me to complete the work, would that be beneficial for your planning? I can do all 3 of those things, Michael, in less than 15 minutes. Can I do it at 4 o'clock or 5? Now, you know what's cool is when you get your routine down, when you get your basic 5 or 6 objections down, this becomes super boring. It's so boring. It's so easy. Now watch, Neil. I haven't sold real estate in 10 years. My question for all of you is this. Why do I have to know these objection handlers? Why am I up here teaching it? You guys are the one doing it, living it. Your income is affected by it. You should be schooling me. I tell everybody, you guys should be schooling me on this. I haven't sold in 10 years. I have all the scripts memorized. I have all these answers for a different reason. It's because I have to stay 2 steps ahead of the audience. I have to keep your respect. I have to know what I'm talking about, but I don't use these scripts to make money. You do. You folks need to know these things and know how to do what we're doing right now with confidence. And do I seem comfortable doing it? And like Yoli threw a couple at me that I didn't have like a fancy answer for, but I'll tell you what, if that happened to me on the phone today, guess what I'm doing tonight with a yellow notepad? Like that lady, she got me today. I didn't have an answer. I'd tell my wife, what do you think of that? No, I'd write out another one. I'd come up with an answer and then try it out tomorrow morning when Yoli 2 says the same thing. Because there's always a Yoli out there, isn't there? Right. Okay, you with me on that, guys? Questions, comments? Questions? Say, Ron, we got it all figured out. Go ahead. Yes. Generate leads, convert them to an appointment, make a presentation, ask them to buy. Ask them to buy. Generate leads, convert it to an appointment, make a presentation, ask them to buy, and then follow up if they don't buy. Okay? All right, good. Can I just get your attention for a minute? I'm almost done here, and I'm going to head back to Vegas, okay? There's a couple things I want to invite you guys to. Who's attended before in January our production retreat? Who's attended that 3-day production retreat in January? Is anybody planning to go this year? Who's going this year? Good. That's how I start. Well, we all start our year off at the retreat. It's our kickoff for the year, okay? I want to invite you guys to do that. Of course, you know the normal cost of the program is like $495, but with Neil's relationship, and it's always been this way for you, is that you guys get to go to the retreats for $195. Okay, so I just want to invite you. A lot of people are signing up now and then writing off the cost of the program, writing off the ticket on this year's taxes. You might need a tax write-off to do it now. But I just want to share with you a couple things Mike told me this morning that he's going to work on. Okay, so watch. Here's what he's going to cover, or a couple things anyway. At the retreat this year, he's going to cover what to expect for the year 2020. Mike does a great job in January because he's in communication with guys like Neil and some of the big brokers and the leaders at RealG and C21 Corporate. They know what to expect in 2020 as far as market conditions, prices, new distractions that we're going to experience in 2020, new stuff that gets in your way, those types of things. We're going to work on what to expect. We're going to work on what I think is critical is the mindset of the top producers. I wrote, learn their attitude, their approach, and their expectation. See, you guys may be aware of this already. It took me years to figure it out. The biggest producers in the business, they do not think the same way as people who are just doing their, say, first 10 or 12 deals. The thought process is completely different for people at a high level of production. I'd like to have you have the exposure of people doing it at a high level so you can see that they think differently about what is a lead, how much time to spend, what they do with their time every day. Have you folks figured out that people like Karen Bernardi or any of the best people in the business, they work the same hours as you? They go in at 7:30 or 8 or 11 or whatever you do, right? They go in at 8, they leave at 4. They work the same. But Neil, I was always like, why is she go in the office the same time as me, but she's making 5 times as much money as I do? I wanted to learn what she did, how she thought, and what she said when she spoke. So the retreat's a great place for that. The mindset of the top producers. Mike's going to be giving the action steps that the strong listing agents will take in 2020. Because of the conditions we're experiencing, the big listing agents are going to be operating in a certain way. You'll be introduced to who they're going to target, where they're going to spend their time, what they're going to do to thrive next year. We're going to take an in-depth look. For some of you want to become a great listing agent. In fact, it starts like this. Point to your lapels. Point to your lapels and say out loud with pride, I am a great listing agent. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I'm a great listing agent. Okay? He says in-depth look at becoming a strong listing agent. I covered a couple points with you earlier, but we're going to go over in detail what it takes to be this person. Okay? And then you're going to be able to kick off your new year focused, inspired, and prepared for 2020. Now, I know that you folks, you guys are probably most supportive office, right, that we're most connected to, and I know that you're all going to come, but I'd like you to sign up for it this month. And I just wrote down a couple benefits. I was like, well, why would they want to do it now? Well, they get to write it off this year, the cost of the program, the $195. And if you want to sign up today, I'm going to send you a 25-minute video that I just made on objection handling. And it takes kind of this conversation to the next level. So I'll just give you a free download if you want to do it now, or you can wait till later. It's up to you. Either way is okay. Question? Perfect. The download? No, you have to sign up today. No. Okay, I will. I will. Give me your card. Oh, it's not fair. It's not fair. Okay, good. So if you'd like to come to the production retreat, and you can do it now, sign up now, write it off. I'll give you the download. You'll love what I send you. You can watch it over and over and over, okay? Second thing, we in our office, we have a small training room. It's called the MFO Academy. Has anyone attended the academy yet? Nobody from here yet? Okay, we've done 4 classes in the academy. It's a small seminar room. We set it up for 50 people. It's very nice. It's very intimate. And we're doing these concentrated trainings in the academy. Okay? So the first 2 classes I did were on the listing presentation. We boiled the listing presentation down to the ridiculous. We were watching videos of the presentation, freeze framing, looking at their body position, their hand gestures, their head nods. We were studying the presentations of the best producers. We practiced and role played 2 days on nothing but presenting, okay? I also did a class on working with buyers, how to show a house, how to physically show a house, what to do when you open the door, what to say, where to go, where to take them, all this thing about buyers, how to have a consultation, 2 days on buyers. So now watch, I'm writing right now, I'm almost finished. I have a 2-day academy on objection handling. 2 full days on the ability to handle objections. Okay, it's called the Objection Academy. You come to our office in Las Vegas, it's 2 days. The cost is $295, lunch is included. You know, it's at our office, so you don't have to go to the Strip. You don't have to deal with the Strip if you don't want to, or you can if you want to. Stay in a nice Holiday Inn down the street from our office, come to the 2-day class and work on your ability to do this. I had an hour and a half to do what I could do, but we're really going to learn how to do it, and there's going to be insane role play and practice amongst all the attendees when you go. Now, at Union, I don't even have a registration form for it. I don't even think it's on the website yet because Mike and I just decided to do it on November 14th and 15th. The first objection class, November 14th and 15th. Okay? So what I'm going to say is this. At C21 Union, 8 people gave me their card. They go, I want to sign up. I was like, okay. And then I was just down at All Stars and I got 13 people signed up for it. And I'm assuming some of you would like to go as well. If you'd like to go to the Academy, what I want you to do, did we pass these out already? Here, do you mind helping me with those retreat forms? If you'd like to go to the Academy, simply give me your business card, write objection handling on the back of your card, and we'll call you early next week and get you signed up for the class. Because I technically can't even sign you up right now, but we'll do it early next week if you want to go. Now, this isn't, don't give me your card if you're just interested. Only give me your card if you want to sign up, okay? If you're interested, there'll be information on the web. You can call in or whatever. But if you want to come November 14 and 15, put objection handling on your business card and give it to me to go. If you'd like to come to the retreat and get the free download that I'm going to give you, simply fill out this form and let me take it when I leave. Are there questions from anybody? Did you learn something today? Is it something you think you can do? All right. Well, I'm going to say thank you.